200,000 what we know as grays between here and our moon, from underneath the surface of the planet and the moon. Now, the grays. The grays originally came from Zeta Reticuli 2. I'm giving you the Andromedan perspective. I'm not here to challenge anybody else's information. I'm here to tell you their perspective. The grays came from Zeta Reticuli 2. They left there 892,000 years ago. They got trapped in a war called the Orion War, which lasted 600,000 years. It was a galactic war between reptilian forces and human beings. What happened was they were captured by a group in Orion, the constellation of Orion, which is Rigel, Beltrax, Ursa Major, Ursa Minor. They were genetically altered there. Many of the female of their species were killed, so they could not reproduce, so they could control the race. They also genetically altered them so that their sexual organs would become atrophied, and eventually they just wouldn't be there because they weren't being used. Now, the Greys, at the same time this was going on, decided that the emotional part of themselves, of their personality, was their weakest link. So they literally bred or thought out the emotional part of their bodies, of their character, which is why they have no emotion. They're robots. Today, there are approximately 2,100 actual Greys, actual physical Greys, that have a soul, that are part of the original race, the lineage of the original race, in our solar system. All the rest, every single one that are doing the abductions on people, are clones. They're robots. They're not, they don't have an essence, they don't have a soul in them. They're robots. Does everybody follow me so far? Okay. The Greys have a problem. They're dying. This is why they basically are here. Now we, as a planetary race, offer them a great opportunity to possibly save their race. But it isn't working. And I'll explain why that is. The Greys themselves, however, have two agendas, at least two agendas. One is to save their race, and the other is to try to help us evolve. Now I know how that sounds, but let me explain to you the position that they're in and how it's been related to me. The Greys are controlled by a group in Orion. Now, the Orion group is made up of 9 different races. They are dark. There are some in Orion that are light, but those that are here are dark. They're regressive. They're into control, domination. They do not want us to evolve. And I'll explain why that is, because we hold a polarity of third density. Third density in our spectrum of our universe was an experiment. We are an experiment. But as long as we hold the polarity of third density, they are in control of third density. If we evolve to 4 and to 5 density, there's no longer a third density. Does everybody follow me? Everything becomes light, which is what it originally was. It doesn't become this. It becomes light, even though it is light now. It vibrates at such a low frequency that it's absolute solid matter. There's a lot of us in the universe stuck in third density. We were not supposed to be in this position, in this density, this long. Many have got addicted to third density, to the physicality of it, to the idea of, if you'll pardon my expression, a sexual orgasm in third density, forgetting what it's like to have a spiritual type of an experience, which is similar to it. Now, here's what happened. The Greys are not only doing this in our system, but this is also going on in 23 other systems in our galaxy. The same scenario, but it's not quite as bad as it is here. Now, the Greys have been totally controlled by the Orions. Since they're dying, there is literally no chance of them breaking free. In other words, they have nowhere to go. The only chance they have to break free from the Orion group is if we evolve. Because if we evolve, this being the neutral point, this being absolute positivity, this being absolute negativity. We are approximately halfway here. If we can evolve, it's not a question of just moving this way any longer. Because everything is in balance. Everything is a polarity. No matter how far you go into the dark, when you flip, you go exactly the same place to the light. So, if we rotate, if we can evolve, if we make the decision to evolve, we will literally move to this position here. Literally changing everything in the middle. Just like that. We will have an effect on everything in our galaxy. Everything. Now, there are wars breaking out all over our galaxy. Apparently, the Andromedans, the Pleiadians, a group from Cirrus-A, Arcturians, and a group from Tau Ceti, did a study or some kind of a research project. And they decided the quickest way to resolve all of these conflicts was to change the vibration of our solar system. Because our solar system holds the polarity of war. Okay, we hold the polarity of war. We war with ourselves, we war with each other, we war with other countries. This doesn't exist on a lot of other planets. We're very unique in that way. There are 141 Orion group members here as well. There are also 17 extraterrestrials from Sirius B. Now, how many of you are familiar with the Montauk information? Montauk project? Time travel? Front and back? Okay. According to the Andromedans, that technology was given to our government by the Sirians. Not Sirius A, Sirius B. Just because they fly around in these really awesome spaceships doesn't mean that they come from an unconditional love space. We will all be awed by the technology. Do not be awed by the beings that are flying it. Do not. They are absolutely no better than you. They're just not. Because as souls, we were all created at the same time. We're just on different levels on an evolutionary scale in the physical. But on a soul level, we're all the same. Okay, that's important, please, because in the next 5 years, you're going to have absolute proof. Okay, there is a world government. It controls all of our lives through the media, militarily, and of course, the big thing, money. Because they've got us all believing we have to have money to survive. Okay? And that's a belief system. You gotta have money to survive. It's a belief system. But we're all there. We're all in it. We're all participating in that belief system. Okay, you've got essentially the Draconans, I'll just put Drax for short, believe that this planet and this solar system belongs to them because they were the first to chart it. They also believe that because they were the first to chart our planet, that they own the planet and everything else on it. Which right now is us. Underneath them is the Orions. They do the dirty work for the Drax. There is a hierarchy. Just like in any government, there's a hierarchy. Even the dark forces are organized in a hierarchy, in a hierarchical government. Underneath them are many different groups, but we'll deal specifically with the Greys because that's what we're dealing with. The Greys were the first to make contact with our government. Our government. However, the Greys in 1931 also made contact, before they made contact with our government, with the Germans, with the Nazis. But the Germans told them, go away. We're already in contact with extraterrestrials. And those extraterrestrials were the Giza intelligence. Does everybody know who they are? They were a renegade group of Pleiadians who believed in the Aryan philosophy, of which that's most of our lineage is. The white race being superior to all the others. Okay, that's where that was born out of. Okay? Extraterrestrial. That's where it came from. Everything we virtually know about ourselves, we've been taught. We copied the gods. The mythological gods, the gods of Egypt, the gods of Sumeria, the gods of Babylon, the gods of Atlantis. We just emulated them. We're great copiers. And we saw how they treated each other and how they treated us. And we've just emulated it and passed it on, legacy after legacy. We just continue to pass it on. But now we're at a point where we're either going to destroy ourselves or we're going to evolve. We've literally put ourselves right here in the corner. Literally, as a planetary race. Okay, now, the Pleiadians, to their credit, got rid of Giza intelligence. But they were not in a position to get rid of the Greys. And the reason they were not in a position to get rid of the Greys is because a group within our government signed a treaty. The Roswell crash did in fact occur. Wasn't the only one. There have been many all over North America and Canada. A lot of them you haven't heard anything about. Now, when World War II was over, many of those that were involved in the spy network, the intelligence network of Germany, including their scientists, were brought to the United States. Many went to Russia. Those that were brought here had information and had dealings with Giza intelligence. So they had a familiarity with the extraterrestrial phenomenon. Now first, there was the OSS. Then the OSS became the CIA. Then Truman created the NSA, the National Security Agency. The NSA is exempt from all laws in the United States unless it is specifically mentioned in the law. Bill Cooper talks about this as well. It's a reality. It's a reality. You pay the bills, but you have no say about anything that they do. None whatsoever. This group right here is your secret government. Clinton is a janitor. He's a puppet. He's a puppet. He does what he's told. When they say jump, he says how high. Literally. Because they are in contact with the extraterrestrials, they have the technology, and they have the clout. Because when you take the NSA, which has all this extraterrestrial technology and information, and you couple it with the world bankers, you got a tyranny. You got a tyranny. And that's basically where we're almost at. In fact, we've been living under it for some time. They just haven't been real blatant about it.